She spent 30 years shaping America's children. She taught reading, writing, history. She shaped minds. She was promised a pension, a retirement, a reward for her service. The system took it away. And she had no power to stop it. Her name was Patricia. She was 26 years old when she became a teacher in California. It wasn't a lucrative career. She knew that from the start. Teachers don't get rich. But there was a promise. A social contract between teachers and the state. The promise was this: teach our children. Dedicate your life to their education. Accept a modest salary. And in return, we will give you a pension, a guaranteed retirement where you never have to work again. Teacher salary in 1994, $32,000 to $48,000 per year, depending on experience. Not much. But with a pension, it was enough. Patricia taught for 30 years. She never got rich. But she also never had to worry about money. She lived modestly. She saved a little. She knew her pension would take care of her. She had contributed to the California Teachers Retirement System, CalSTRS, every year for 30 years. Thousands of dollars deducted from her paychecks, money she trusted would become her retirement. Patricia's pension contributions over 30 years, $284,000 of her own money, plus matching contributions from the state. At age 56, Patricia could retire. She had put in 30 years. She had earned her pension. She submitted her retirement papers in 2024. She expected a pension of about $3,600 a month for life. That's how the system was supposed to work. That's what she was promised. In 2024, the California Teachers Retirement System announced a crisis. The fund was underfunded by $137 billion. CalSTRS unfunded liability, $137 billion. That's $137 billion that should be in the pension fund but isn't. How did this happen? California had made promises to teachers, but had never fully funded those promises. Politicians preferred to spend money on other things: tax cuts, infrastructure, corporate incentives. The pension was always treated as someone else's problem. By the 2010s, the crisis became impossible to ignore. California's pension funding ratio: 71%, meaning for every dollar of promised pensions, they had 71 cents. Anything below 80% is considered a crisis. The state did the unthinkable. They broke the promise. In 2024, CalSTRS announced a reduction in pension payouts. Patricia's expected pension of $3,600 a month was reduced to $2,840 a month. A 21% cut. On her promised retirement. Patricia's pension reduction, $9,120 per year less. Over a 30-year retirement, that's $273,600 she won't receive. The letter from CalSTRS said the reduction was necessary due to long-term sustainability concerns. In other words, we didn't save enough money, so we're taking yours. Patricia had no choice. She couldn't opt out. She couldn't demand the full amount. The system simply took it. And she wasn't alone. 1.9 million California teachers are affected by this pension cut. 1.9 million people who gave their careers to public education, now seeing their retirement reduced. Teachers across America are facing the same crisis. Illinois, Kentucky, New Jersey, state pension funds are underfunded by over $1 trillion combined. Total unfunded pension liability across all U.S. states, $1.4 trillion. Teachers, firefighters, police officers are being told their promised pensions won't be fully paid. To understand how this happened, you need to understand pension math. A pension is a promise. Work for 30 years at this salary, contribute to the pension fund, and in retirement we'll pay you X dollars per month for life. For this promise to be kept, the state needs to save money now. A lot of money. California knew this. They calculated that they needed to contribute enough money each year to the pension fund so that by the time teachers retired, the money would be there. But California didn't always contribute what was needed. 2000s, California contributed 40% of what was required. They underfunded the pension deliberately. Why? Because funding pensions is expensive. And politicians wanted to spend money on tax cuts, corporate subsidies, and other politically popular things. Pensions are paid in the future. Politicians face elections now. So the rational choice for a politician is underfund the pension, give tax cuts today, let someone else deal with the pension crisis in 10 years. California underfunded its pensions by a total of $94 billion over 2 decades, 2000 to 2020. Then came the 2008 financial crisis. Pension funds are invested in the stock market. When the market crashes, pensions lose trillions. California's CalSTRS fund lost $83 billion in value during 2008 to 2009. The fund never fully recovered. By 2024, CalSTRS has recovered only 71% of the losses. 29% of the investment value from 2007 is still gone. By the 2020s, the situation had become unmanageable. The state would need to contribute more than 40% of teacher salaries to the pension fund just to avoid bankruptcy. That's impossible. If the state is paying 40% of your salary toward your pension, there's nothing left to actually pay your salary. The state faced a choice: raise taxes dramatically, cut other programs, or break the promise to teachers. They chose the last option. Patricia is now 56, fully retired. She has no other income. No 401k. No savings. No other job. Her pension is now $2,840 per month. Her rent is $2,100 per month. She has $740 per month left for food, utilities, healthcare, insurance, and everything else. Patricia's monthly budget: rent $2,100, utilities $200, food $300, insurance $200 equals $2,800. Her pension: she is 56 years old. She has 30+ years of life ahead of her. She cannot afford those years. She's now considering going back to work. At 56, she's looking for jobs. She got a job at a local community college teaching part-time. It pays $15 per hour. She works 25 hours a week. That's an extra $1,500 per month. Combined with her reduced pension, she now has about $4,300 per month. She's 56 years old and working 25 hours a week plus living on a reduced pension. She was promised she'd never have to work again. 500,000 plus retired teachers nationwide are now facing similar situations. Many are working in retirement because their pensions were cut or were never sufficient to begin with. The worst part? Patricia did everything right. She followed the rules. She did her job. She contributed every single month. The system broke its promise, not because of her failure, but because of systematic underfunding and political choices made 20 years ago. She has no recourse. She can't sue. She can't demand the full amount. The system simply took it. Teachers have no legal protection against pension cuts. Unlike private employees covered by ERISA, public employees have no federal protection. States can cut pensions whenever they want. Patricia's story is one of millions. Illinois teachers are facing 40% pension cuts. New Jersey teachers are taking reduced payouts. Kentucky teachers saw their healthcare stripped away. This is not just California. This is a nationwide crisis that will affect tens of millions of people. 40 million Americans depend on public pensions. $1.4 trillion in unfunded liabilities means massive cuts are coming for millions of workers. The system broke its promises because politicians chose to underfund pensions in favor of tax cuts and current year spending. And there's no one to prosecute. No one broke the law. They followed the legal rules of underfunding and underpaying. They just broke the moral promise. If you're in a public sector job relying on a pension, here's what you need to know. 1. Don't rely solely on your pension for retirement. Your pension might be cut. Plan for worst-case scenario, 20 to 30% reduction. Build supplemental savings. Max out 457(b) plans, Roth IRAs, and any other retirement accounts available to you. A pension is a promise, promises can be broken. 2. Pay attention to your pension fund's health. Every state publishes pension funding ratios publicly. Check your state's teacher/public employee pension fund status. If it's below 80%, a crisis is coming. Plan accordingly now, not later. 3. Understand the rules in your state. Some states have legal protections for pensions, Florida, Texas. Others don't, California, Illinois. Know where you stand. If you live in a state with no protection, you must build additional retirement savings, your pension alone won't be enough. 4. Push for accountability now, while you can. These pension crises didn't happen overnight. They were created by underfunding decisions made decades ago. If you're still working, demand that your state/employer fund pensions adequately. Vote for politicians who prioritize pension funding. Once you're retired, you have no leverage. I spent 30 years teaching America's children. I kept my end of the bargain. The system broke its end. Don't let the same thing happen to you. Plan for a world where pensions might not exist. Because they might not.